Where does this right here that you got?
Huh?
What is that? Where did you get that at? I mean, is it something you stock here?
The shop rags?
They're shop rags.
No, just shop rags?
Yeah.
That's all. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you guys deal with Centas, you can buy their scrap shop rags really cheap.
Yeah, because you're just going to throw them out in the end
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
You're just,
We did this whole thing just on a bigger basis, on a much 60-inch wide roller, Brian.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we had printing machines probably as long as a half a football field.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
What were you printing?
vinyl.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. So you do have an idea on
Yeah.
this anyway,
yeah,
good.
I have on a bigger scale, but
Right.
this is,
Now,
excuse me?
Yep.
Now he's got to do the other side.
would it be advantageous to do this while it's not so hot?
No,
Okay, fine.
because you want it to be tight in there.
Okay.
You know, and have the angle of what you're going to be doing. So it doesn't, you know.
are you filming this, Robert?
I am.
Okay, good.
This is all specialty equipment.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys got the latest version.
This is version 0.5.
The key is, it doesn't matter how old it is, this thing makes money. Okay, so now we're just gonna let that warm up, okay?
The dye's
Now-
warming up.
Now we have to get this down to 1.5 inches to match the paper that we're gonna run here. Just come out of here.
Move back that.
Oh, you don't use that.
Not that one. That's for big thing.
Well, why couldn't you use it? I mean,
Because you'd be running onto the designs that are next to it.
oh, it's true. You're putting pressure, that's right, you're putting,
Pressure on in the area that you
got
use.
it.
It drops in, and then there's a key with a screw.
Do you have one size that's like your main size, or does it change?
Well, I use this one for 1.5 and 2 inch,
Right.
because we don't have an 1.5 inch.
But what's your biggest seller? Is it one particular time where you're doing more of one than the other?
You can't really say
never
that
know.
because you just don't know.
You really don't. All of a sudden, you get a bunch of
Okay, is that the slid in there? There was no,
Yep.
there's no pin or anything?
There's no lock.
The only thing that I've seen is sometimes this screw will loosen up. And then just to let you know, this screw right here, sometimes will loosen, so you gotta keep an eyeball on that. And then you've got two key
Which is
keys
this
there.
part here, see?
Right.
And that's why it loosens up, because you're going up and down with it, it doesn't lock.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Okay,
make sure,
so now
I
you
would
want
check
this,
it each time.
you want this to be in line with your design, okay? And now it is, okay? So
Now you
we're
do your
good there.
pressure. Now you do your pressure.
Now we're good there. You said they want this in black, right?
Yes,
Black,
sir.
How many?
1,000.
But let's do, I want to do 5,000.
Well-
Yeah, they're ordering a lot, so he said run 5,000.
Okay,
That way you can,
okay.
That way they're stock.
that way you don't have to
Alright.
run it again.
So, yeah, so that's, you know, that's
This
where
doesn't
we're
have
at
to
with
be
that.
cleaned off at all?
Nope.
Not unless it's real thick with stuff from it just happening.
But if
See,
we
this
wanted
is-
to,
this
we
is
could
kinda
clean it up.
pasty.
Right.
You
don't have to
could.
clean that blue out
Ready
of
to go?
there?
Nope,
Because,
because you're going to black, everything comes black.
okay, what if you're going a lighter color?
If I was going, again, you'd start by cleaning everything up, you know?
Like, when you clean it, how clean? Like, stick a bang?
No.
No, because that's gonna dry hard
What-
fast anyway.
What's the price for the color change? You can't be
$20.
spick and span.
Now see,
See-
she's screwing it in a little more.
See, so now I got, because it's warm, okay, I'm trying to get this die clean. So I'm screwing this in, and I'm screwing this up, and you'll see the die's getting cleaner and cleaner where I want to run this, okay? Okay, so
It just needs to warm up.
right, now that's gonna warm up. And see, like later on, when I'm, you say color-wise, I go under here and get all this garbage, put it right in there,
Yeah,
because
you
it's
reuse
black.
the ink.
Because it's black, and I'm not gonna throw away any ink.
What if you got a little bit of red there?
Who cares?
turns
It's
black.
gonna be black.
It'll turn black.
The pigment in the black is gonna keep it black.
Okay.
That's the predominant color, so it's gonna keep it black.
These need to get cleaned off once in a while too. That's from a blow up.
That must be what Bruce does when he comes in.
I come in and clean stuff up for him so that it's run
Okay, so now we got this end set up, it's warming up. I'm actually gonna turn that flame down a little
How do you know when that's ready?
because this die is clean. Now see, I could go under here.
No,
and get-
let's stop right there. One thing I noticed, like, okay, you have a wheel spinning here with, you know, and your hand is like right here.
Yeah, it's been there for 30, 40 years.
You just don't put your hand in.
You just don't put your hand in, that's right. So this is ready, this part's ready to run right now, okay? We're good to go on that end. Now I gotta get the paper set up that's gonna match that size.
Guards, Jim. Lots of guards.
You're not gonna have me hit. My hand's not gonna be anywhere near.
No.
Because you'll
Mine
know,
doesn't
you'll know if you put your hand there, so you just keep your hand with it.
Yeah, show them how that pulls off, pulls on.
This is for 3" or bigger. This is for anything less than that.
Oh, we've got your paper over here. Oh,
You want 5,000.
I didn't know how much
Yep.
it would make. So,
How much is on a roll?
Yeah, I was thinking 1,000, so I used the small.
gotcha.
And you just do the.
How many can you make on a roll like that size?
Depends on the size of the transfer. How long is
Exactly.
the transfer?
How big the die is as to how much is.
Okay.
But generally, I consider about 25,000. I can generally make 25,000 on anything if I use a full roll of paper.
Okay.
Hold on, don't go anywhere with that. This just helps the paper roll flatter.
Mm-hmm.
Just have a question while you're doing this. I'm watching this, I see this is turning around, you're gonna thread it. Do you have the machine down? Okay.
Because that line is so thin.
Right, okay.
It's not
yeah,
putting a
there's
lot
no
of
pain
pressure.
there.
You're
They're
doing it-
circular.
you're
They're
just trying to
circular,
get
so
it
it's
to
not-
roll
Okay, I didn't know
itself.
that, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he did that the other day when I was here. What the
Scared the shit out of them.
You
All
can see
right.
our feeder here.
Underneath that one, over top of that one, and underneath
sorry.
of that one.
Well, once you get the thread, then we'll.
Yeah.
One of the pertinent pieces of equipment seems to be
Yes.
missing.
Oh, it's right here.
No, there's one right here.
Okay.
We don't want to shut down rotor pin.
My clothespin.
Sometimes those are the best things.
You're just holding it into place and keeping it tight.
A little bit of spit.
They're pre-glued tubes they
Pre-glued.
use rather
You
than
just spit
masking
on
tape.
there. Okay, now we're good there. Okay, and obviously, it's not, I don't have enough pressure on it, okay? So this is where you're adjusting your pressure on it.
How do we know that? How do I know that?
Because you're feeling it here. You're feeling the pressure going onto the die.
Put your shield out.
Thank you.
So this one's our right to left.
Yep. And look how beautiful it looks. Just like downtown.
Let me see.
That's good.
Isn't that pretty neat?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you gotta look at it that way to see, you know. See now, see, here's what I look at, okay? I can tell you I've been heating the ink up too long. See how it's bleeding out? It won't be bleeding out by the time you're done running your first roll because the ink will have cooled down enough to, you know.
Did you talk about that to roll?
No, your first roll of 1,000 on here. Here, let me.
So right now it's a little too hot. So if he wanted to, he could turn the heat down a little.
How do you know when you get to 1,000?
There's a counter right over there by you.
Counter over here, and first he makes sure everything's
Okay,
running okay.
so everything's
and then
good
he
here.
hits the starter.
Now you're good. Now you turn that back to 0. Now if you want to speed it up, you go down here. Speed it up. And then you line this thing up back here so it gets started.
Now, how long will the ink last?
It depends how big the design is. Sometimes you're adding in the middle of a roll, like on a big design, sometimes not.
This will heat up, and I'll allow it
Can I
to.
get enough for many passes for that?
Well, you'll see here in a minute. We're going to be done with this roll of 1,000 here in about another minute, okay? And you'll see that it barely uses anything. Yeah, I set that to 0.
I know, but once it gets to 1,000, you have to watch it shut it off.
Yep. Yep.
And if you go over, that's okay. They usually go over by
Exactly.
50 or...
Well, I always go over by something because I always go over by something so that, you know, especially like if it's hand cut over there. Spiral the wrong direction. But see there how all that bleeding has gone away? Because the ink has cooled down enough.
The problem
Well,
here
what I'm gonna-
is it started
what I'm
to
gonna
slide.
do-
It started to slide at the roll.
Okay, hold on. Okay, what I'm gonna do.
do with that one? That's junk stuff?
He's gonna show you what to do here.
No, I mean, the
Yeah,
roll-
well, it could be junk, it depends. It depends if it's a hand cut order or not, okay? If it's a hand cut order, no. You can still use this because you know how many you have, but you're not gonna send a customer a roll that looks like that.
Yeah, I mean, we could...
Sometimes
yeah.
it'll
Okay, so
spool
here
up,
we
you
go
can
again.
actually press it.
We're gonna start off here. We're gonna set the counter. We're back to 0. Now see, here's part of why you did that, okay? Because there's no guide on it here telling it not to do it.
Now it'll run smooth on each side.
Grab me some water. That's one thing I always keep sitting here when I'm running is some water, okay? So that if this ink spits at you, you put your hand in the water and it'll peel right off.
Yeah, sometimes your tape, your shop rag will burn up, start to burn a little bit, you gotta cool it.
The key is you want to sell it to the customer on rolls, not cut. That's the key.
See how this roll is not quite dead center and it does this, you can see it rocking. Sometimes if it rocks a lot, if one of these rocks a lot, it's shipping and they had it
You could have gotten too
put it on the
hot
floor and you stand
while you're over there doing
and it'll level
something
it out.
because you didn't turn
That
the flame
there
down. Okay,
also
so we're at 1,000.
has to do
So I'll
this
go to
here.
1,050.
Yeah.
Lift
That
that
also
up.
adjusts. There's a lot of little adjustments. Okay, we press that last
There's your order of 1,000. I hope it's on a roll. Customer wanted on a roll?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yep. Now I can feel this is too tight. See, because
Feel it.
it's not wanting to run on its own. So I'm going to loosen this up a little on the brake
a little.
so that it'll run on its own. You want it when the paper's moving, it's moving on its own. You don't have to force it.
I noticed when you take the cover back and bring the date we're real close to the pulley here, right?
What's that? This?
Yeah. We're real close to the new date and put it back the other way. You know, we're real close to that pulley. Right?
It is what it is.
No, but that's not going to be as forgiving as this right here, right?
I'll tell you, I never got my hand in there.
Don't try it.
I'll tell you what I did once, but I only did it once. I was in high school when I started working here. I kept backing this off, the thing flipped back at me and I got all this ink come this way, okay? And it got all over the front of my apron and my shirt. So dumbass me takes this apron, lowers it down, and takes my shirt and pulls it up over my head. And all that hot ink came here on my face. But I only did that once too. Now see, out of that we were able to run 2,000. Out of that ink, okay? Now I'm going to add ink.
Tape it,
There you go.
one end.
Keep on running.
So that they
So
know
you're
what they
1,000?
got and you know what they got. And a lot of times he'll run 2,500 if he's doing 10,000.
Yeah.
He'll run
The most I put on a roll
2,500.
with this is 2,500. Okay, that's usually the top.
And they'll order 10,000 and they only got 4 rolls. And they're like, how come I only got 4 rolls? I only got 4,000. And that's why I have rolls that she'll write on it or I'll write on it, 4 rolls of 2,500. bring that back, right in the hole, right? And you put the thing in.
Sure.
So you see where a guard's gotta go.
Or you hire competent workers that aren't gonna file workman's comp claims, not like the ones we hire at Lincoln Electric.
Well, no, I'm not talking about a workers' comp, I'm talking about now